1, 2, 3, check. Check test 1. All right, Smed, you got me turned on? All right, I'm turned on. I'll come out here and try to stay. No, I was behind it anyway. Okay. Guys, it's good to see y'all here today. This, I think, the fourth year we've had Marshall County Football Media Day, and it's good to see everyone here. Seems like it grows every year, and hopefully we'll continue to grow, and we'll outgrow this room, and we'll find another place. So it's great to see you today. It's another great football season coming up in just about a month, and we're going to kick off Marshall County Football Media Day today with the Boaz Pirates and Coach Jeremy Sullivan. Coach, if you would let the guys introduce themselves, or you introduce them and make some opening comments today to kick us off.
Y'all can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Jacob Gray, Tyler Pierce,
Tyler Osborne.
Jacob's a senior. He plays running back and linebacker for us. Tyler Pierce is our quarterback, and Tyler Osborne plays inside linebacker. We only brought two of our three Tylers today. We're down to three. We did have five a couple years ago. I guess everybody decided to name their kid Tyler in the same year, including me, because one of them's my son. We kind of finished up summer yesterday. We had a 7-on-7 at Fort Payne. We did an 11-on-11 with Buckhorn this week. We've been in a couple other competitions this summer. We came to one here at Sand Mountain Park. I can't remember, maybe a couple of weeks ago. It was the week before Dead Week. And then we went to Gadsden City, and then we hosted an 7-on-7 at our place. So we've had a bunch of competitions this summer. Kids have done a good job of competing. They've worked hard to get better. We've had good attendance all summer. We got a lot of things going on right now as far as facilities-wise with our field house and stuff that we're trying to get finished up before school starts. That's been kind of a process this summer, but we, kids have done a good job. We've had good attendance. We've got about the same number we always have in the 60s that are participating. So we're looking forward to getting it started.
Coach, could you tell us, my couple of questions, how many starters come back, both sides of the ball, offense and defense, and what do you think will be the strengths of this year's Boaz football team?
And I meant to add that up before I came because you always ask it, and I always had to think about it. But I know on offense we have back 8 starters. We also have back 2 kids that played significant roles for us last year. So we lost 2 offensive linemen, but we have one back that is that played because of injury. He ended up starting 3 or 4 games for us last year. So really we feel like we got 4 guys up front who have enough game experience. We consider them returners. And then our backup running back, we roll through at running back. We play a lot of 2 running back sets. So we have a running back. We have 2 running backs that played a lot last year. Actually, 3 that played a lot last year. Our main significant loss was a receiver, Gavin Smart, who had a bunch of catches, a bunch of yards. It was kind of the focal point of our offense last year. But offensively, we started 8 sophomores, and at times 9, and at times we had, every kid we had out there was either a sophomore or a freshman last year. So we got most of our experience back on offense. We feel good about that. It was tough at times, especially early last year, especially up front. But we feel like that's going to pay off for us this year because of the increased game experience and those kids having a year to mature, get bigger and stronger. Defensively, we're returning, I think, 5 starters on defense, and some of them are playing in different places. So like last year, Jacob played safety for us, and this year we moved him down to an outside linebacker type position. Tyler Osborne played outside linebacker. We moved him to inside linebacker. So we've kind of had to do some moving around. We've really worked hard this summer to trying to find the right combination of guys in the secondary. That's one reason we did all our 7-on-7 stuff that we did, and we feel like we're on a good path for that. Linebacker wise, we're still searching for one more inside linebacker. We kind of feel like that's a place where we still need to solidify that position. But everywhere else, we feel pretty good about it. Defensive line, we got back 2 guys that pretty much started for us last year. We roll them guys so much. I'm not sure if I can't even remember if they were the starters or if they were the next guy in, but they played at least half the snaps last year. And then we've added a kid who played Y for us last year, which is like a tight end receiver position in our offense, and he's going to start at defensive end. So we feel pretty good, especially on offense with the experience we have coming back. We hope that the offensive line and our having our quarterback returning is really going to be a strength for us this year. We think that our running backs, we feel like we have 4 running backs that could be starters. So we're hoping that the run game can be good for us and help us open up things in the passing game. Weakness-wise, I think we're just kind of inexperienced at our position on defense, and it's just something we just got to keep working on and keep working to get better at.
Well, Coach, so last year at this time, y'all were opening a new stadium, and there's a lot of distractions because I remember you talking about it a lot. Do you feel a lot better? You think the kids are more focused because now all that's behind them and there's a lot less distractions maybe going into this year?
Yeah, I think so. I felt like we were pretty focused on the football part of it last year. Kids are pretty, resilient, I guess. As long as we got Powerades and protein drinks for them after practice, that's all they really care about. Got somewhere they can maybe get an air conditioner for a minute. But I really appreciate all the work that was done on that facility. We got the turf down and it looks great, and all the work they did around it, to make things look better is, I think it's one of the better places I've ever had the privilege of coaching at. And, kids are really excited about what we have and everything that our school board and community, gives us as a chance to be successful. So, we can't really worry about that stuff. We just got to focus on the football part of it and what we need to do to improve and to win games.
I want to ask this question to the guys, the players. Guys, this summer, coaches talked about you guys going out and working 7-on-7 and OTAs 11-on-11. Each one of you kind of comment, how do y'all think the team is coming together with the work this summer? Because that has a lot to do with what's going to happen here in a couple of weeks when you kick off against Jacksonville.
I think it's coming together pretty well. These really help with learning and experiences and stuff and bringing us together.
Yeah, like Jacob said, we've just been competing and getting better every day, and it's definitely going to pay off.
We've already faced a little bit of adversity in 7-on-7s and stuff this year, so I felt like we responded pretty well to that, especially yesterday. So I felt like that was an important moment for us, learning how we were going to respond to those situations already.
Good answer, Tyler.
So for the players and even you, Coach, what are you guys expecting out of the season? Is there like a level of expectations? Obviously, you've made the playoffs. I think it's 5 straight years, but you've lost in the first round. Is there something you guys are expecting this year?
I go into every season expecting to win every game. I go into every game expecting to win that game. I'm not young enough or stupid enough to predict our record, but what I want us to do is be as prepared as we can for every opponent that we face, to try to give our kids, as coaches, give our kids the best chance we can to be successful, for our kids to become the best football player that they can become individually, and for our team to become the best team it can become by the end of the season. Now, where that ends up being as far as playoffs and region and all that stuff, it's hard for me to tell because I don't know how good everybody else is going to be. I don't know how we match up personnel-wise, but I want to give our kids every chance to be successful. And I don't mean to try to avoid your question, but I don't really think in terms of, 8-2 or 15-0 or whatever. I think in terms of trying to get the most out of this football team, squeeze every bit out of this talent that we can, and to do everything we can to give our kids a chance to be successful as coaches, and for our kids to improve as much as they can individually and as a team as the season progresses. Now, obviously, personally, I got a lot fewer years in front of me than I do behind me, so it's become a little more of a feels like the time's ticking away on me. So I would really like to move us to the next level of, not just getting to the playoffs, but being a team that's successful in the playoffs.
What do you think is going to be the most important thing for you to focus on to kind of keep the momentum going from the end of last season?
I really think that the off-season program in the summer was really important in that, and I think it is every year. And I think that's something we really tried to, we had a much better end of the season than we did beginning of the season last year. And I think a lot of that had to do with the growth of the young players as they got better as the season progressed. And I think that rolling into the off season, we really tried to, push those kids to get bigger and stronger. We have a nutrition lady that the school system has contracted to give us advice about nutrition, and we got our kids with her so we could help them get bigger and stronger. We brought in a new strength conditioning coach to help us improve in the weight room. So that was some things that we felt like we needed to keep rolling to keep those kids on that track of improvement. And then this summer, some of the things we talked about earlier with making sure we had the right people in the right places in the secondary, because I felt like that hurt us, especially in a couple games early in the season last year. And it was, all my fault because, we got a kid injured who thought was going to be a starter, and I didn't have a guy ready to go behind him that was the same level as he was. And then, I think going into this season, our kids are going to have a little more confidence because they've played through a season as starters, especially offensively. And, they know that they can compete. They know that they can, have a chance to win any game we're in. And, we just have to keep building on that success from last year.
Coach, I'd like to know who you kind of see as the leaders, the teams to beat both in the region and the county.
Region, I think Guntersville's going to be really good. Coach Reese always does a great job there. He's been doing this stuff a long time. I just have so much respect for what he does with his program and with his players. And then Arab, had a great year last year. Coach Osment, does a great job over there. And, I think that it's going to be, I think both of those teams are really good. I got to know Coach Bell last year and Scottsboro, and, the things they do on offense make it really tough to defend because you only see it once a year. And Coach Bell knows that stuff inside and out, and he does a really good job of finding your weakness and trying to take advantage of it. So those three teams were the top of our region last year. Douglas is much improved from where they were, 2 or 3 years ago. Coach Lyles has come in there and really put a new excitement and a new type of pride in that program. So I think they'll be a contender. And, we're down to a 6-team region because of Crossville and their situation with having to drop varsity football. So, Sardis has got a new coach. I know they got some talented players, some of those same kids that were on the baseball team that played for the state championship. So I think it's going to be a very competitive region. It's going to be really tough to win that thing. As far as county-wise goes, I guess the only other school we play in the county is Albertville. And, that's a big rivalry game that obviously – it's always going to be very competitive and tough. It don't really matter what the records are going into that game or what they end up at the end of the season. That's, over the last over the last 3 or 4 years, that's been a one score, maybe 2 score game that's been very competitive and come right down to the end. So we would like, obviously, always to wind up on top of that thing.
Guys, let me ask you a question for your portion of the media days over. Coach selected you today. Obviously, you're leaders of the football team. What does it mean to you as athlete at Boaz to be selected by the coach to represent your team, your school, your town? What does that mean to you to be at media day today?
I think it's a good feeling because it shows that he's noticing the work we've been putting in over the summer.
It's very special because he selected us individually, and we've been working hard, and he trusts us to come up here and do what we need to do.
It is really special. It takes a lot of discipline to make the right choices and to be a leader of the folks around you. So for it to be noticed by your coaches, it's pretty special.
I want to chime in on that. So it's really hard for me every year to decide who's coming with me, because one of the things that we do have at Boaz that's I think is really special is the quality of kids that we get to coach every day. So it's always a hard choice to make, but all 3 of these kids, they all have different stories and kind of the way that they've progressed in their career and the playing time that they received. And, I could tell stories about each one of them. But they're all leaders on our team, and they're, leaders in our school, and, they are what you hope as a high school football coach that you get to work with. And we have a lot of those kids. We can only bring a few, so they're the ones that came today, but I had a lot of other choices that I could have made, and I appreciate them coming. And I know this is nerve-wracking for them, so I appreciate them stepping outside their comfort zone and helping me out with this.
Coach, thanks a lot. Thanks, guys, for coming today. Good luck against Jacksonville, opening up on the 25th, I believe, of August.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us. And, one other thing. We did find a replacement for Crossville. We'll be playing Cleburne County. At Cleburne County.
That'll be on October 6th, right?
No, sir. The September date.
Okay,
whatever that September date
the
is.
Crossville date, the 15th. Okay.
Yes, sir. It'll be replacing Crossville at Cleburne County. That just happened this week, and I don't think I've told any of y'all about it.
Okay.
But we appreciate y'all having us. I appreciate y'all doing this event. It's great for high school football in this area, and I hope to continue to see it grow.
All right. Thanks a lot, Coach. We appreciate it, guys. Hey, we're going to continue today with the Douglas Eagles, and Coach just decided to bring the whole team today, and that's great. Coach Brandon Lyles, Douglas Eagles coach. You can let them introduce themselves. You can introduce them, then maybe some opening comments today from you about this year's team, please.
Yes, sir. I'm finally going to let them introduce themselves after this is my 4th year, so they'll have to do it today. So we'll start from this side and work our way back.
My name's Samuel Wright. I'm a senior at Douglas High School.
Logan Puckett. I'm also a senior at Douglas High School.
Gabriel Lawrence, also a senior at Douglas High School.
Jacob Calloway, senior at Douglas High School.
Avery Thomas, a senior at Douglas High School.
Michael Smith, also a senior at Douglas High School.
Yeah, and as you can see, we've got several seniors up here. And, you know, usually I wouldn't bring this many, but these 6, when I started 4 years ago, just the downside of Douglas, it was hard to get kids out. And these 6 young men come out with us, and they started as freshmen, all 6 of these young men. And I don't remember, and I'm sure they were a little bit terrified at times, but I never seen it from them. Just their will to compete as freshmen, and did everything we asked them to do, and they continued that all the way to their senior year. Very unselfish young men up here. I would go to battle with them through anything, and so, you know, I appreciate everything they've done for us and the program at Douglas High School. As far as the off seasons went, to me, it's been one of our better ones that I've had since I've been there, just because we've got more showing up consistently than we've ever had. And this group's very coachable. And again, I go back to not just this group, but the whole group, they're unselfish kids. So we're excited to get started, though.
Coach, this is your 4th year at Douglas, and you just talked about these guys 4 years ago bought in to the program. Talk about where the program, where your staff, and the kids have come in the last 4 years.
Yeah, you know, the weight room to me was a big deal that these kids, not these because they've been with me, but just when I first got there, several kids didn't understand the importance of being in the weight room, not just off season but in season. So we've been able to turn that around. And then the mental aspect of going out there and trying to, and I think we've done a better job of that, of it doesn't matter who your opponent is, just play your game. And I feel like these kids have been able to buy into that as well.
A couple other questions for me, then we'll let the other media. And guys, I want to ask you to ask questions today if you have questions to any of the coaches and players. Coach, talk about number of players coming back, starters on offense, defense, maybe the strengths of this year's Douglas team.
Yeah, so on offense, we've got 4 returning starters on the offensive line. We've got 2 or 3 guys that can fill that other spot that we feel really good about. Most of our wide receivers are coming back. We've lost quarterback and running back, and with Eli Teal and Jonathan Fontaine, and then Dakota Stewart that played our H-back. Those guys are, you know, very hard to replace. But when you start looking at it, I'm sure they would tell you they had a good group to run behind, and having those guys back is going to be huge for us. You know, I feel really good about the kids that are stepping up, that are, you know, quarterback, Encasing Walls, running backs, Kenyon Watkins, Kanan Murray, Jacob Calloway's going to have to jump over the other side and play a little bit. And then on defense, we bring our whole secondary back, most of our linebackers back. D-line, we've got some young men that are having to play both ways, from the offensive line to the defensive line. Maybe not having to, but I feel good about them being able to do that this year. So we bring back experience and probably more depth than what we've had the last several years.
This is for the players. Guys, Coach talked about y'all starting as freshmen. You know, and I'm sure at some point at Douglas, it was just, just to get to put the uniform on was satisfaction. Now you have to have a different mentality. Now you have a lot of school pride. I know you do, because now you're going to be hitting that field expecting to win than just hoping to win. Any of the guys want to comment on that? Because, I know it's going to be a long season, but now the expectations have to be a lot higher for you guys.
I think that, of course, the expectations are higher, but along with us starting to win, we also have got a lot more community support, and so it doesn't make it nearly as hard to go out there and try to win every night.
None of the guys want to comment on that? Well, let me ask you guys this, and I'd like for all 6 of you to comment. I know you've worked hard this summer, and Coach has talked about you've had a good summer. Talk about the team coming together. Maybe there's some big guys down here with big numbers, and you got some guys with small numbers that's skill players, and we've got linemen. Talk about how the summer has gone for maybe your position groups as you come together as a team.
On the lineman wise, it's came together real well. Like Coach Laws said, we've got 4 returning starters on the offensive line, and we've got a bunch of young guys that we can replace. And we've really just been working hard in the weight room. And I think this is the first year that all 5 of our starting linemen are going to be over 200 pounds, so that helps.
The linebacker position has changed a few bit because we have a new returning starter, but he's changed positions, so it's going to be a lot different. And we have new, young, coming up starters, so we'll see how it does. I think they're capable of doing their position and going out there and playing just as hard as we do.
Yeah, he's talking about Tanner Edmondson and really Cooper Butler as well. Both of them lost some bad weight, able to move around a lot better, and so we moved them to linebacker. Feel good about both of them being able to play there. And then you talk about kind of the summer for our skill guys. 7-on-7s is what it is. We know that, but I wanted to watch these guys compete, and they've had a very successful 7-on-7 this summer. From your time when we were out, quarterbacks and receivers, and then defensive guys learning their coverages and all that. So we've had a really good summer as far as that goes.
Where have you been focusing most of your attention on the defense to kind of improve it on how it was from last year? Because you had several games where you had teams put up 3 more touchdowns on you. So
D-line, again, it's been, trying to get better up front. And then just being more versatile. There's stuff that I've always tried to run that you got to feel good about it to call it, to be able to do that. And I feel like this year we've gotten several guys mentally that know what to do with the defense more because they've been in it longer. Going forward, I feel like we should be better overall defensively than what we've been several years.
Coach, August 25th, you're on the road at Susan Moore. These next couple of weeks every hour is important to you. But in your mind, what is the most important thing you have to get done between now and August 25th?
Just getting better at communication, knowing what to do. A lot of times during the summer, you've got coaches a little more relaxed. We're on the field with them sometimes. We can kind of call the play. You mess it up, we can stop it. So we've got to get to the point where we are playing really good quality football every snap, where the coaches are on the sideline like it is in a game and able to communicate with each other and feel comfortable with each other that they can do their job without me standing right behind them. That's always, and I'm sure every coach will say the same thing, you're trying to get better at those little pieces because it comes a big piece in the game.
Coach, obviously you guys have had some recent success, but the program still doesn't have a playoff win. What would it mean to you and the players to be the first ones to get it done?
That's obvious. It would be huge for the program at Douglas High School. It was huge just getting in the playoffs a couple years ago. But I know these young men are not satisfied with that. And so you try to make new goals. Our goal is still get in the playoffs, and then our goal is to try to win that first-round game. We got a rough deal the last couple years ago. We got Pleasant Grove, who was pretty good. But we were excited to get in it at the time. Now you want it, you expect to get in it, and you want to try to win that first game for sure.
Coach, I want to ask again, I think I asked this last year, but when you went back to Douglas 4 years ago, you kind of brought Douglas guys that played with you or played in Douglas and kind of knew the history of the program. And it seems like 4 years ago, that kind of turned the tide for this program, at least in my eyes. Is that the way you see it as you pull those together? Was that your expectation maybe 4 years ago that you would see the benefits from putting that Douglas staff together with Douglas people on the sideline with you?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. When I took that job, I had to reach out to men that understood the community, understood what it took to try to build something because, you just go anywhere and you may have a coach that's going to be there a year or two and then he's gone and you're just trying to, get another guy to come in there. But with what we've done there, we've had consistency for 4 years. And I look now, everybody on my staff has played or been at Douglas at some point. So they know what it takes. And you just kind of got to keep rolling. And that's what we're looking for. And I think, you just want to keep trying to go forward. So that's what we're looking to do.
Well, Coach, one quick question. When you come to Douglas, of course, it was a coach-driven football team naturally. Do you feel like these guys have gotten to the point to where they're player-driven instead of having to be coached so much?
Yeah, there's no doubt the leadership. My first year, just trying to find young men to try to be leaders, and sadly, some of these freshmen were trying to learn at the time. I started with 2 seniors my first year. So watching these guys develop, I feel comfortable with them in the locker room. I feel comfortable with them in the weight room, being able to, hey, if somebody's not doing it right, they can step in and do that for me. And just kind of take on my personality and my role as a head coach. I feel like these guys have done a really good job of that. You know, it wasn't very long ago, Douglas was the doormat of Marshall County. They really were. And it's a credit to these young men of how hard they've worked. I know they don't want to talk much over here, but they work really hard in the weight room and in the classroom and on the field. So,
before we let you go, Coach, I want the guys to comment on the fact that they were selected to be here. They're all seniors. They've been with you 4 years. Guys, what does it mean for a coach to ask you to come to represent the school in front of the media today?
To be honest, it's just an honor. You know, I've been playing with all these people I've been playing with some of these people since my 7th grade year, maybe even 6th grade, and, you know, it's insane just how far we've been able to come, and, you know, just a little family we've got here. Proud to be here with them.
It feels very good to know that he's selected us to be able to come up here and represent our program and what we've been able to do over the past few years.
I think it's an honor, and I enjoy being able to come up here to do these things to help improve the team.
It feels very good to be chosen by coach because you feel like a leader to the younger kids to step up to become something else instead of the old Douglas, like people would say. But like, just we got to keep working, like, you know what I'm saying?
It's also a great honor. Like Samuel said, we have all played together, and we're not only representing our football team and our school, but we're also representing our whole community.
I have to agree with Jacob when he said it's an honor for little kids to just look up to you when you're playing. And I feel like us doing that for the past couple of years have improved the Douglas community.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate it. Good luck kicking off, I think Bo said, on the 25th against Susan Moore.
Yes, sir.
Thanks a lot. We appreciate you being here today. Good luck, guys.
Thank you all. All right, we're going to continue with Marshall County Media Day today with the Guntersville Wildcats. And I got a text from Coach Reese a couple of days ago and said that he was going to be out of town regretfully. He was going to take a few days off and go on vacation. So he has sent his offensive and defensive coordinator. And Coach Kennedy's already told me he's never done this before with Coach Thomas, so we got to be gentle with him, guys. So the Guntersville Wildcats, Coach Kennedy, Coach Thomas, I don't know which one wants to give us kind of an opening statement, but first let the guys, if they want to, introduce themselves. If you'll do that, then field some questions. We'd appreciate it.
EJ Havis, inside linebacker. Dave Peterson, wide receiver and safety.
Eli Morrison, quarterback. Carter Britt, H-back.
So one of you I know Coach Thomas, defense coordinator, you may want to speak on defense and going into the year, and then let Coach Kennedy speak on the offense, if that would be okay.
All right. We're excited about this upcoming season. The players have worked hard this summer, doing 7-on-7s, lifting weights, and this time of year is always exciting because we know that the season is about to crank up. Defensively, we've got 6 returning starters. The guys that are not starters have played quite a bit of football last year and the year before. But we've got 2 returning starters on the defensive line, Nick Carfano and Brooks Frazier. Carl Christian is starting right now as on that D-line. The linebacker position, we got 2 out of 3 starters coming back. E.J. Havis and Avery Clifton are our starters. Connor Flanagan and Gus Harris are playing that position as well. And in the secondary, we've got 1 returning starter, and that's Dave Peterson here, and he's played a lot of football for us. And we've got 2 newcomers that have played a lot of football, Braden Holstenbach and Cam Gentle. So we're excited. The outside linebacker position, Trayvon Avery's starter, good football player. He's back. We got some new guys, Tyler Thomas and E. Nelson Delva, filling in at the outside linebacker position. So we've got a lot of returning guys. We've got some new guys, which is pretty common for most programs, and we're just excited to crank it up and see what we got.
Coach Kennedy, you want to speak on the offense?
Offensively, we returned.
Would you slide the microphone over, please? There you go.
Offensively, we returned about 6 starters too, including Eli, who started the last 3 games. We did lose some quality receivers. We lost a couple of quality linemen. One of them's playing at Berry this year. So, but I think we're going to be able to replace them. Royce Baucom is a returning starter on the offensive line. He's gotten several major offers, Navy, Middle Tennessee State, UT Chattanooga. Then our running back is Julian Jordan, who's got an offer from Mississippi State. We returned 2 other offensive linemen, Kate Altum and Ethan Pass, who's both played well for us and will continue to. Even though we lost 3 quality receivers, we're returning a couple. Carter's, of course, our H-back. He's going to be rotating in. This is the tallest group of receivers I'm ever going to have. You know, we have 4 that are 6'3" or taller. We have another newcomer. It's going to be a sophomore, Jack Lenore, who's going to fill in at receiver. So I'm also rotating in. So, you know, we got some good quality skill, and we got some good quality linemen, and I think we're going to build on last year's and the previous year's success and just keep playing hard and keep executing on offense, and I think we're going to have another good quality year.
Coaches, then I'll ask the players this too, but talk about what you've done this summer. If you've gone to OTAs, if you've gone 7-on-7s from the defensive and offensive standpoint, how do you think that has gone, coaches? Then I'll ask the players that too. So.
We went to Gaston City for 7-on-7. We went to Boaz. We had an OTA with Fort Payne and Susan Moore. And mainly that kind of stuff it's competitive, so you get to see guys compete, but it's not football per se, and we know that. And but we still think we get a lot out of it. You know, the quarterback obviously gets a lot out of it, and the receivers and the secondary. So we do that every summer, and we thought we fared fairly well, but we understand that the pads are coming on here in a week or 2, and that's a totally different ball game.
Coach Kennedy, you want to comment on that?
It was a good summer. It was productive. I thought we got better offensively. We kind of struggled at Gaston City, but that was the first one with some new kids, their first experience with 7-on-7, and they kind of shied away early, but as the games kept going, we got better. 7-on-7 to me personally is one of the funnest things that we do, especially offensively. We've had a lot of success with it also. Eli had a great summer throwing the ball. We actually won the Boaz 7-on-7, playing against some quality teams and some teams that we'll see this year. So it was a good experience for our kids, and I think it was productive, and it got us a lot better for the incoming season.
So, guys, I'm going to ask you that question. Y'all went out and played 7-on-7s. Do you think your position groups and the players you play with, do you think you guys got better this summer and came together as a team?
Yes, sir. I think we played well together. I mean, there's some stuff we have to clean up, like coverages and stuff. But other than that, I think we did pretty well.
Yes, sir. Like EJ said, I think we learned a lot about each other this summer. We built a lot of chemistry to the 7-on-7. I think the 7-on-7 is overlooked as far as how much you actually get done other than just football. It's like a bonding experience. You spend a full day with your team and you learn a lot about each other. So that was probably the most beneficial part about it.
I think working on timing is a big factor with the 7-on-7s. I built a relationship with my receivers and my running back, and I know where they're going to be almost every single snap now. As to the beginning of the summer, I didn't know that, but the 7-on-7s and the OTAs helped me build that relationship and that timing with them.
Yeah, I think the receivers have gotten a lot more comfortable with Eli as a quarterback and just worked on timing and all of our plays. I think we've really got our plays down this summer.
This is for the players. Guys, Coach Reese is not here. So, you're not going to throw him under the bus naturally, but I want to know, what is it like to play for Coach Reese? He's been successful as a head football coach. What is it like to play for him?
It's an honor to play for Coach Reese. Him pushing us every day, just trying to get the whole team better, stuff like that.
Yeah, Coach Reese is he's one of a kind as far as a coach goes. I think it's motivating for us because he's been around for so long. I mean, ever since I was a kid and just growing up watching Guntersville football, you idolize those guys, and then it's kind of fair comparison to Coach Saban. You see him that whole time, and you really look up to him as a good coach, and Coach Reese just kind of idolizes himself like that.
I think, looking up to Coach Reese, he is just in such a leadership role, and he handles himself so well. He just gets his business done, and he doesn't, try to show off or anything like that. And I think if any coach is able to show off, it's him, and he doesn't do that. And I think that's really admirable. So I really respect him.
Yeah, I think it's an honor to play for Coach Reese. He's a great coach, and he really knows how to get the best out of our players and just how to make everybody better each day.
Hey, this is for Eli and Coach Kennedy. Antonio goes down into the season last year. That's a terrible thing at the time. But it seemed to me that experience is going to be really great this year as we go into the season with a new quarterback.
Eli playing the last three games. Was it the last three or last four? Last 4 games. That was my mistake. But him coming in and filling in for Antonio, who did go down against Scottsboro, he gave him some experience. And, just like anybody, first time out there, you're a little bit nervous, may struggle a little bit. But Eli grew as the year went. And then, of course, we ran into a buzzsaw with Ramsey in the second round, who's a very tough opponent. And Eli kept his composure and played well. We just didn't have the animals to take them on at that time. But, he grew, he got better, and I think it's going to be a good year for us and a good year with Eli leading us.
Eli, what are your thoughts on all that?
I think that mainly it was a confidence builder for me. I think that if you can't play with confidence, then you're not going to be very successful. But obviously it was very hard to see a leader of the team go down like that. But it took me a little bit, but I tried to step into that role and just hopefully build upon that from last year into this year in the offseason and perform and help my team, build on that this season.
Hey, it seemed to me in the spring game, you looked like you had gotten bigger and stronger since last season. What did you do in the off season to kind of get there?
I just realized that I got to help out my team in every way I can, and I just hit the weight room, put on 25 pounds. I thought that every way I could help them, that's selfish to me to just hold that back. So I just really focused on my body and my mind.
Guys, I'd like to know, Guntersville won the county 3 years in a row. Arab kind of upset you last year after Antonio got hurt. Who do you see as being the leader in the county race and the region race this year?
Well, we're just focusing on ourselves. That's what good teams do is we've got things we've got to work on offensively, defensively, special teams. ARAB had a great season last year. They're a great program. Albertville's always tough. Boaz is always tough. A lot of teams on our schedule are tough. And we just take it 1 week at a time, focus on ourselves. If we do what we're supposed to do, that's all we can ask is, from a coaching standpoint, do your best. As a player standpoint, do your best and let the chips fall where they may. But we're not focused on anybody else. We're just focused on ourselves.
You guys have touched on the experience and the guys that you're bringing back this year, and I think it's huge to be able to bring your quarterback back and have that a little bit of experience from last year. But what is it going to be from this year's team that's going to help you guys really get over that hump and make a really deep playoff run, get out of that second round? What would you say obviously it's the start of the season, you got to get to that point, but what is it going to take to get to that point at the end of the year?
Well, I think if we stay healthy, we'll have a good shot. We're not very deep. We got a lot of quality kids and a lot of quality players, but the depth is not there really yet with our younger group. So if we can avoid injury and we can keep building from week to week, I think we will have a shot at making a decent playoff run this year.
All right, guys, thanks for being with us today. Coach Thomas, Coach Kennedy filled in very admirably for Coach Reese. I don't know if he's watching on the internet this morning, but he could be. So, guys, we wish you the best and good luck in 2023. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
We're going to continue this morning with the ARAB Knights and Coach Lee Osmond. Coach, it's always good to see you. Welcome, guys, to Media Day today. And, Coach, if you'd let the guys introduce themselves or you introduce them and make some opening comments, we'd appreciate it this morning.
All right, you go ahead.
I'm Kurt Williams. I play offensive line. I'm Dylan Morrow. I'm a senior. I play corner.
Logan Silva. I'm a senior. I play Mike linebacker.
Hagen Stewart, senior, and I play free safety.
These are our, and we've got other leaders that are in our senior class, and we've got some in our junior class. But this would be the backbone of our of our leadership, and I've been really pleased with their development. You know, we laugh about, you know, when I first got here, I looked at this class. They were in the 8th grade, and I was going to the middle school every day, and I was working out the 9th grade, which we just graduated 22 of those guys, and they won a bunch of games. And then there was the 8th grade bunch behind them, and I remember saying to my wife at night, I said, if I just keep my job their senior year, we'll be doing something right. But this bunch has really turned. They 3 years ago, if you'd have told me that I would be this optimistic, I would have laughed at you. But this has turned out to be one of my favorite bunches because I've seen so many lights come on. I've seen them flip the expectations of a group of young men, and it's been fun to watch. It's been fun to be a part of, and that kind of change doesn't just happen when a new coach comes into town. That kind of change happens when you got leadership from within, and they say, "That's enough. Let's go," and that's what's happened.
Coach, I want to congratulate you. Best year in ARAB history last year. I know that's behind you. And I'll ask you and I'll ask the guys too, how much confidence does that give the program to you and these guys as you spoke on what you did coming back? Because you're just a couple of plays from being in semifinals last year.
Yeah, and I've relived those moments over and over and over again. We could have run that 2-point conversion with blindfolded, and we would have scored, but they interfered with us, which was the best play they made all night. And you just replay it and replay it and replay it, but and we can get stuck in a rut if we want to, but no, we got another opportunity in front of us, and we don't want to miss it. So that's where we are as a team. I've challenged this group. We went on our senior trip last week, and I've challenged this group, and they have risen to the challenge, and I've given them a few gut checks along the way, and particularly one of the things we did last week. It was hot, and I was fully expecting a meltdown, and I'd already planned how I was going to respond to the meltdown because most teams would have melted, and it was one of the best practices we've had. Now we had some guys get close to passing out, but they were playing, they were going. And it was a good thing.
Guys, would you comment on how much confidence that gave to know you were that close last year, and how much that confidence that gives you going into this season?
We got a taste of it last year, and we love putting in the work because we want to get there again. And we're very optimistic because we know our standards to doing the little things and competing and getting better every day. And that's something we love to do as a team. And we focus on, like I said, the little things and playing football with controlled violence. And that's something this group's really good at. So I'm very optimistic.
Well, we learned how to work from the group that graduated last year. So it's really given us like a spark of hope for this season, because we graduated 22 and we've only got 14 now. So it's showed us how to work, and it showed us that we need to play at their level.
Like Dylan said, I feel like last year gave us a taste of what is achievable for us, and I feel like with everybody buying in, that we have a good chance of doing it again.
I feel like we have a good chance at repeating what we did last year because of the group coming behind us, and then the leadership, like Coach Oz said. We've really stepped it up, and I think we have a good chance.
For Coach Osmond, you spoke on this. You talk about the kids having the light come on. And that's an important thing. That's one of those things, and you've been doing this for a long time. Is that one of the things that motivates you to come back year after year?
Yes. That to see the light come on. I'm going to pick this guy out, okay? He didn't think I was going to pick on him today. But 3 years ago, he was playing quarterback. And he was mediocre on a good day. He threw the ball like a watermelon. And I approached him, and we talked about playing cornerback. And I said, you got the build for, you're fast, you can run, you're quick. You got all the tools to be a good corner. Would you want to play corner? And he sheepishly, I think he just wanted to get on the field, but he sheepishly stepped in and said, oh, okay, I'll play it. And that first spring, he made a really good break on the ball, something that I didn't coach nor that I knew he had. But he had a monster break on the ball, and it's been a blur ever since. He's one of the best cover corners I've ever coached, and I've coached some good ones. And just to see that, just to see the selflessness of him stepping away from quarterback into a position that he'd never played nor had any interest in, to step in and do what he's done, it's extraordinary when you're talking about a 16-year-old kid that looks at social media and sees, one narcissist after another, and it's all about me, and what's mine. And then to see these kids step in and take accountability to each other and to sacrifice for each other, that makes my job. That makes me sing. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, because he's going to spend the rest of his life doing that. If he gets married, if he has a family, he's going to spend the rest of his life sacrificing with that smile on his face for the ones he loves. And this is a great, not a good one, a great primer to teach a young man that, no doubt.
Coach,
yes.
Kind of tailing in off what you just said, I've known you for many years. You used to kill me in the YMCA League in Gadsden. I did your family cell
I'm sorry
phones.
for whatever I did and for whatever I said.
Hey, but no, you were good. And I always did your family cell phones when I was at Verizon. But my point to that is I see what kind of character and what kind of man you are off the field with your family and your kids. You've been successful everywhere you've been, Glencoe, Oxford, now at ARAB, that's no mystery. But what separates, DNA is different in different areas of the state. What separates these ARAB kids and some of these other places you've been? Because I know they got the right leader in the place.
Well, and when you say the right leader, use plural, because it doesn't matter what the leader does if the leaders don't buy in. It doesn't matter. You can be the best football coach in the world. If the leaders on your team don't buy in, you're spinning your wheels. You're not gonna. You might win a few, but you're not gonna win. You're not gonna have a program that is set on winning. And that's what's happened at ARAB. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with the character of the kids. I've challenged them just like I challenge everybody else. But these kids, these young men, rose to those challenges. And they understand the cost of leadership as well. I heard one of the coaches at the SEC Media Days talking about the cost of leadership. Leadership costs something, but the rewards are greater than whatever it costs. And the rewards come in terms of things that maybe aren't related to the immediate leadership. It comes in terms of wins. It comes in terms of satisfaction. It comes in terms of seeing this kid actually belong to something beyond himself, and through their leadership, that's what's happening on this football team. And look, you've seen us play. We're not going to outrun anybody. We're not going to outthrow anybody. We're not going to, we're strong, but we're not the strongest on any given night on the field. But I can tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go full speed every play, and we're going to do the little things better than you can consistently.
Coach, to that same thing, speak about your staff and what your coordinators and your coaches have done, especially the fact that you haven't changed anybody in a while.
I've got, I'm sure every coach says this, but I believe it. I've got the best coaching staff in the state, and I'm like a dog with two tails. I'm both of them wagging because I'm lucky in that regard. I'm blessed in that regard. And Kyle Routon is our defensive coordinator, and he speaks in terms and language that these young men can understand. And they understand. We were talking about that on the way up here. There's a language that you talk. I'm not talking about cursing. I'm talking about a language that you can speak over their heads, because these are 16, 17-year-old kids. And you can say the right things, and you can talk about the technicalities of it, and it'll just go right over their head. But Kyle puts it in terms that they understand. And, there's not a single guy on the defense that doesn't know what his job responsibilities are. And they do. They're nodding their head. They'll all tell you that. They know what they're doing, and they're not thinking on the field. They're reacting, they're running, they're playing football. And then on the offensive side, Chad Hudson, when I hired him, I had Michael Darden, who came with me from Oxford. I love Michael like a son. And when he left, I thought, it's the end of the world. Hired Chad to do it, and I'm telling you, Chad he has been one of the best I've ever been around. And he does the same thing with the offense that Kyle does with the defense. He keeps it simple, and there's not a whole lot of thinking going on. And it looks complex. What we do looks complex. It's really very simple, defensively and offensively, but we can do it out of multiple sets.
Coach, when you come off of such a good season like you had last year, what is your first priority when you're preparing to start a new season, especially over the summer?
Good question. The same thing that makes you laugh makes you cry sometimes, right? That you raise the standard, you raise the expectations, and now, you got to play to those expectations. But those are good problems. To me, those are good problems. I mean, I would rather go into the season the way we are now than to go into the season with people saying, "Well, here we go again. We're going to look good, but we're going to lose." That's kind of the mindset it's toxic, and we know the expectations. We know, Guntersville was here before us, and who were their eyes on? Look, we got a target on our back. I know that. These guys know that. And I applaud that. I welcome that, because that means we're doing something right. And, we've got to make our approach the same way we've made every approach. And our standard isn't Guntersville. They're a good program, great football. They're going to play hard. They're going to do everything the way they do, and which is good. I can look at any number of teams and say the same thing about it, but best is our standard. Our best is our standard. And every day they go out on that practice field, they know that. They know, look, if I see you not giving your best, I'm going to call you out. And where the magic happens is when it's not me calling them out, it's when Logan Silva's calling them out, and he's done it. It's when Morrow is calling them out. It's when, Kurt's calling them out, or when Hagen's calling them out, or when one of our leaders, one of our players is calling them out for not giving their best. And that's when it happens. And it's happening. It's present progressive. It's happening.
Coach, you're coming off the best season in program history, but how much would you say there's still a bad taste left in the mouth with the way that the season ended?
Yeah, you're right. I've relived that second overtime over and over and over again, and we, shoulda, coulda, woulda, and that's great. But and that'll motivate you for a while. But I'm telling you, what sustains us is giving our best every day, showing up and giving your best, regardless of how you feel, every day. And that if I get focused on that and forget about the everyday, I think I'm setting a trap for myself, and I'm gonna fall in the pit, and I'm not gonna be able to get out of it, right? So yeah, that's great, and learn from it. What do we learn from it? We learn that every play counts. We also learned that when you're coming up on a forced play, what do? Do you turn your shoulders? Guys, what do? Do you turn your shoulders? You keep your shoulders square.
Just keep them square.
Keep them square, right? And if we'd have kept our shoulders square, we win. We're in the semifinals, and we're hosting. Big deal, right? But no, it didn't happen. But we learn from it, right? The important thing is we embrace that failure by learning from it. And then we incorporate that into our everyday, and every day we demand, when you take on that lead block, when you set that edge, you got to keep your shoulders square. You don't turn your shoulders. Keep your shoulders square. And by golly, it's working.
It must be working. 11 wins last year at ARAB. Coach, thanks for being here today. Good luck to you and the Knights. Open at home against Albertville about 4 weeks from today.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Okay, we'll continue this morning with the Albertville Aggies and Coach Burt Brown. And Coach, welcome to Marshall County.
Thank you.
Welcome
it's great to be
to
here.
Marshall County Media Day. And I'd let you introduce them, or let these guys introduce themselves.
Yeah.
You'd give us some opening comments about the Albertville Aggies.
Okay, I'll let them introduce themselves.
My name is Reed Kitchens. I play center and defensive end, number 54.
My name is Xavier Havis, linebacker tight end, number 0, senior.
Well, just kind of to start off, we have 9 seniors and 9 juniors, 7A football. That's something that we have to fix as a coaching staff. We've got to recruit our school, our 5th and 6th grade. We just got done being out on the field working out, and we went over and handed out some popsicles and stuff to our band that has 400 in it. And there was 2 offensive tackles over there in the band. So we're going to have to do a good job of recruiting our kids. And, you got 9 seniors and 9 juniors. I don't know if that's been going on, but we're going to definitely do that. I'm going to be in the 5th and 6th grade, the intermediate school right over here at lunch, and getting to know those kids. And I'm going to be over there in that middle school at lunch some, and throughout the year, and getting to know those kids and getting kids to love football and wanting to play football at Albertville. And one of the things, and this is the 6th program I've taken over that had not been successful. And, one of the things that when you're a 15, 16, 17-year-old boy and you walk in a school after a beatdown on Friday night, people are talking about you and things like that. There's not too many kids that have the guts to step up like these young men and keep going and playing. And so every program I've ever taken over, I've really tried to instill in the kids that you can do it. We are going to do it. We're going to work hard, and we're going to have discipline. We're going to act right on the sidelines. We're going to do all the things that it takes to be successful. And we're going to give these guys, we're going to put them in all the right situations. They're going to be prepared. So, we just got to do we've got to do a great job of getting the young kids out to play football. And, but these guys that have stuck around and gone through the summer that we've gone through, that I don't know, I've asked them to come in there 4 days a week and work over 3 hours a day and do those things. And, for the young men that have stuck it out and stuck with it, that says a lot about them, their intestinal fortitude, the things they want to do. Because I remember it was many years ago, but I was 15 at one time, and I was very lucky to be a part of a football program that was successful. But I can remember, being a 15-year-old and what goes through your mind. And if you walk into school on Monday after you've been beat 50-0, and a 15-year-old girl tells you you're terrible, what can you say? There's not much you can say. And that's what I've been telling these kids all summer. We got to work to change that. What are you willing to give up to change all of that? What are you willing to give up to be successful? And that's any time. And, I try to share life experiences with them and tell them that's anything you do in life that's worth anything. You got to give things up if you want to be good at it. Do you want to lay on the couch all day, or you want to work and make money and be able to have a nice house, drive a nice car, and those kind of things? So we're trying to change the culture. That's for sure. I've had a lot of kids quit over the summer. Probably 7 starters that have not stuck with us, but these guys have, and the kids are there. We're going to be successful. We're going to put them in the right position, and we're going to do the right things. We're going to be disciplined. We're not going to we're going to jog off the field. There is no more walking off the field at Albertville High School. So we're changing some little things that I think can go a long way, and I know they do because I've done this. It's the 6th time that I've taken over a program, like I said, that hasn't been successful, and we've turned it around. So I'm excited about this group. We're going to have a lot of guys go both ways, including these 2 guys. It's old school football, man. 75 snaps probably a game, these 2, if not more. So, but I'm excited about this season. We've got some good skill. We've got our offensive line's been working hard. Our D-line's been working hard. So I'm excited about it. I really am. And I know a lot of people say, well, 7A, but I don't care. That's what we are. So we're not going to talk about that because we are 7A, you know, so we've got to go out and play a 7A schedule, and that's what we're going to do. And then, you know, we've got two pretty tough ones out of the gate that aren't 7A, so we've done ourselves no favor in scheduling. So,
Coach, could you talk about, you brought in basically a whole new staff.
Yes, sir.
Brought some outstanding coaches in with you. And kind of what kind of offense and defense can fans expect and we just see from Albertville this year?
Yeah, well, obviously, when you have kids going both ways, we're not going to be any kind of hurry up, crazy offense. Ken Karcher is my offensive coordinator. Ken, of course, I don't know, some of you might have read, Ken was parade All-American, I think, in 1980. That's Under Armour All-American now. And signed with Notre Dame, started 3 games at Notre Dame as a puppy, and had another guy starting in front of him. And like Ken said, he goes, I was young and stupid and thought to get to the NFL I'd have to go somewhere now and start. And so he transferred to Tulane, ended up being John Elway's backup for the Broncos, and played for, I think, maybe the Eagles for a year, maybe, I can't remember. But Ken has been the head football coach at Liberty University, FBS. He's been the head football coach at East Central Mississippi Junior College the last 10 years. He's retired, and he moved to Alabama to be around his grandkids. And I put stuff out on Football Scoop about needing coaches and a possible coordinator. I'm a quarterback, offensive coordinator guy, and I've never given that up. But at my last job, when I was a high school head coach at Stewart's Creek before I went to Tennessee Tech, it was a big high school, and I was offensive coordinator and head coach, and I just said, if I can find somebody I trust, I'm giving this thing up, because it's just too much at a big high school to be the head football coach and the coordinator. There's a lot on you, a lot of things you got to do. And so when I got his resume, I thought it was a joke because the guy, you know, he was a head football coach in FBS, and he's saying, hey, I want to come just help you out. And so I called him and I said, is this a joke? And he started laughing. He said, no. And so we got to talking, just a great Christian man. And, you know, of course, I'm a quarterback guy. I've had 6 kids I've coached in quarterbacks that I did not recruit from somebody else, that I don't know that everybody can say that, that I brought from my school that were there all their life that signed scholarships to play quarterback. So I consider myself a pretty good quarterback coach. But Ken is right there with me. You know, I mean, he played quarterback in the NFL, and he does a great job with our quarterbacks. And I've told our staff there's 2 people that talk to the quarterbacks. That's me and Ken, and nobody else. They can say good job, but don't coach them. But Ken does a great job, and so offensively, we're going to have a bunch of puppies playing. We're going to have Des Revolt's going to be our starting quarterback. He's a sophomore, never has played quarterback. So that's our I brought him in, and Bryant Nelson, who's an Albertville boy, is going to be our offensive line coach. I brought him in, and so defensively, Tony Harper was a 22-year college coaching veteran. Ken was a 32-year college coaching veteran, was a coordinator in the NFL Europe, offensive coordinator in NFL Europe, and then the other league, I think maybe the World League, he was an offensive coordinator. And then you got Tony, that was another thing. Tony sent me an email, and I thought that was a joke. Tony was a 10-year head college coach in Nebraska, and he's a 22-year college coaching veteran, 17 years as a defensive coordinator in college. And so I tell our kids all the time, you don't know how lucky you are to have these 2 guys as your coordinators teaching you football and going to get you prepared to play a football game, going to be able to make great changes during the game. We were doing 7-on-7 out here the other day, and after 2 snaps, me and Ken were standing there, and Ken said, yeah, here's what we're going to do. They're doing this. In 2 snaps, the guy had it and said, all right, we're going to hurt him with this. So I'm excited about those 2 guys and the staff that we have.
Well, Coach, there's two questions, one for you and one for the kids. Everybody knows Albertville struggled lately. What attracted you to this job?
Well, this is a funny story. I'm recruiting. I was at Tennessee Tech. It was in December, and I'm recruiting, and I'm coming from Birmingham, Decatur area, and I'm coming down through Arab, and I'm headed down into Guntersville, headed to Cookville. It's a Friday night. I'm trying to get home to see my wife and our dogs, and I had to go to the bathroom, to be honest with you, and I couldn't, between Arab and Guntersville, there's no place. So I was like, I got to find somewhere to go to the bathroom. So I go down the hill, and there's Publix. So I thought, well, hey, they got great sandwiches. I'm hungry. I'll run in there, use the bathroom, get a sandwich. So on my way out, and I had been thinking about, I told my wife a year ago, I said, I'm about done with this craziness of college football. You're on your phone 24/7. You got to like 15-year-old and 16-year-olds' tweets. And it's a constant, you're constantly recruiting, which I like recruiting, but, it's just a crazy world in the college game now. They need to make some rules so that it can be a little easier for coaches when it comes to recruiting. And, you don't have any time off. You're 24/7. And, if you're on vacation and some big recruit's coming through campus and calls all of a sudden, then you got to come off vacation to meet that kid on campus. And, so I came out of Publix, and I was just looking at the area, and this whole area is just a beautiful area. And I said out loud, man, this would be a nice place to live, And so, like I say, we had talked about me going back into the high school, being a high school head coach, either in Georgia or Alabama. I'm a Kentucky boy, so I come from basketball country. I grew up in that. I played all three sports, and Kentucky's just a different world when it comes to basketball. There's gyms up there that seat 6,000, 7,000, and so I wanted to get to football country, and of course Alabama is, and so I just saw it online one day, and called Mr. Phillips, our principal, and I said, I'd like to send you my resume, and got an interview. And when I left the interview, I really felt good about Todd Watkins, our assistant superintendent, who's our acting superintendent now, and Jordan Phillips, and then Matt Lambert, our AD, were the three guys that interviewed me. And I knew then that these guys kind of knew what they were doing, because they didn't have 10 people in there interviewing me. Because anytime you go in there, in my opinion, when you see 10 people in there interviewing, it's not a good sign. You need the principal, the AD, and maybe one other guy like Todd that's coached football. And so I just had a great feeling when I left that interview, and I called my wife on my way home. I said, this might be the place. So of course, she's a researcher. So she starts researching houses and all that stuff in the area, and we're in love with the area. It's a great place.
Well, this is for the players. So far, what is your impression of Coach Brown? How has he changed the culture so far?
Go ahead, Xavier.
Since they came in, every day they would preach attitude and effort. So I think they really changed our focus level when it comes to the sport. They made us work way harder than we've ever worked since I've been in high school. And I just think that they're really pushing us to be a good football team.
They are teaching us to learn the game mentally and not just physically. So we know down distance, all the things that go into it mentally rather than just physically too.
This one's also for the players. Obviously Coach Brown has college experience. He's talking about your OC who has it, and then the other coach who has college and NFL experience. How nice is it to have that, just maybe on the field, but even, I don't know if you guys are, trying to play at the next level or not, but to help you maybe guide that, especially Coach Brown, he was on the other side. He was the person recruiting. How nice is that to have in the program to help you guys not just on the field, but maybe off of it?
It's very nice to have him. We were really impressed when he decided to come here, and we're very thankful.
Yeah, it's real good to have them. They make me look forward, and they've taught me a lot. They've made me a way better player than I was when they first got here, and I'm just real thankful and appreciate.
Now that we're getting closer to the start of the season, where have you been focusing most of your attention at practices?
That for me?
Yes.
I mean, we're going to do everything. I think. I don't know. I'm a big special teams guy. I believe in practicing that when I think there's a lot of schools that probably don't work that very hard. We are going to, and we're going to have our kids prepared in those kind of aspects. but we do everything. I mean, we're lifting, running, doing offense and defense and all that thing. There's nothing one specific, side of the ball or thing that we do. And we've asked a lot out of these kids this summer that they haven't been asked to do. And but like I tell them all the time, what are you willing to give up to be good? What are you willing to give up to be great? And because you have to. And I think I'm not an Alabama fan, but I'm a Nick Saban fan, and I heard him say something to that effect. You got to be willing. Like I heard him say one time, not very many people want to be great. They don't want to put the time in the effort to be great. They just want to get by. There's a lot of just get byers, and that's what I tell these kids all the time. How good do you want to be? What kind of feeling do you want to have on Monday mornings walking into school? Do you want that bad feeling that you had last 2 years, or do you want the good one where you walk in and you feel good about yourself and you can be a proud 16, 17-year-old kid?
Coach, thanks for being here today. Good luck. You open at Arab in a couple of weeks, actually a month from tonight, I believe. So good luck to you. Guys, thanks for coming.
Yeah, I was going to try to see if Coach Osmond would let me get out of that and let's go play a junior high in Tennessee or something. I would open up with those guys,
Did you catch him going out the door?
No, I didn't get to talk to him. You guys were hurrying me in here.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. We'll continue this morning with the DAR Patriots and Coach Kyle Davis. Coach, it's good to see you back out of the area for a few years, but back in over at Grant at DAR. Good to see you here at Marshall County Media Day for your first time, I guess, here.
Right.
But we'll let the guys, if you want to introduce them, or let them introduce themselves and some opening comments about this year's Patriots, please.
Absolutely. First off, I'll introduce who's with me today. We'll start here at the end. That's Marlon Diaz. Marlon plays linebacker for us and some H-back. Have Seth Satterfield. He plays linebacker and running back. Have Adam Newton. He plays offensive and defensive line. Dalton Morrow plays offensive and defensive line. And Trevor Ball plays secondary and receiver. All these guys are seniors. They're guys that, have gone through a tough situation, 4 coaches in 4 years. I kind of feel like I'm typecast a little bit like that episode of Seinfeld. You show up with Patriot trying to rebuild a program again. But, man, it's been a great opportunity for us. We are excited about what this year has to offer. Coming in, I think it was very easy for guys. And we have 14 kids, I think, that played last year that aren't playing this year. I think it was easy for guys to look at a situation and say, it's just going to be a lot of the same. But these guys right here and a couple other seniors and I think we have 12 or 14 maybe that are returning. They decided to stick it out with us, and it hadn't been easy. It's been tough. We try to, I really haven't changed as far as the person that I am when building a program. We try to base it off of 3 principles that we have, and one is getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. 2 is showing up when you feel like it and showing up when you don't. And the 3rd is we're going to develop grit. And these guys have really kind of bought into what we're doing. We have 21 workout days, so you can look up here, and between these 5, they got opportunity to have 105 days. And I think between all of them they missed about 7 total together. And that's family vacation, or some of us, hey, we're multi-sports guys. Some of these guys are on our competitive cheer team. They went to cheer camp at Alabama, and so reasons for missing were mostly athletic. So they're here. They show up, like I said, when they feel like it, when they don't. We've had guys who have been injured that showed up and done those things. So, we're excited about what's going on. We know we got a long way to go. We know it's a tough road to hoe, but at the same time, I believe that these guys believe in what me and my staff are doing, and we definitely believe in them that they can get it done. So we're really looking forward to getting the season kicked off.
Coach, could you talk about your work this summer, OTAs, 7-on-7s, and also what changes you bringing maybe offensively and defensively to this year's Patriot team?
So we were able to attend 4 7-on-7s. One was actually a multi-camp at Madison County. They did a big man challenge, and they did a 7-on-7. At that camp, our big guys, big skill as I like to call them, they actually came in second with a lot of big-time schools there, one 7A school there. And we really got to see them perform. On the skill side of it, we've struggled a little, but again, this is the first time any of these kids have ever gone to a 7-on-7. None have ever experienced 7-on-7. So obviously the first time was a little bit of a learning curve for us, but each 7-on-7 we went to, we got better. We learned the offense. And, for my style of offense, 7-on-7 is great because, we're not a team that goes out there and just makes up plays. We're actually running our offense there. We have a lot of young players that are going to be playing. We have a 9th grade quarterback. We have a couple of 9th grade receivers. We have an 8th grade receiver, 8th grade running back. And so if you like you see here, we have a couple of senior skill guys. So it was really good for them to get the reps. And obviously, like everybody said earlier, it's not real football, but it is live reps as far as going against the defense and being able to understand coverages and read coverages on the offensive side, and then on the defensive side, being able to interject your coverages onto their offensive scheme. So we got better, which is the key of what we got to look at this year is continuing to get better every single day. And it was just a good learning experience for us, and I really think it's going to give us a little momentum going into fall camp, starting on the 7th.
This is for the players. Coach Davis, you spoke on this. 4 coaches in 4 years. It's tough to build trust. So far, guys, any of you that wants to answer, what is your impression of Coach Davis? Because I know that's the most important thing here is you've got to have trust in your football coach if you're going to be successful.
Well, when he first came in, I was pretty skeptical, but, new coach and everything, you're going to be kind of skeptical and whatnot. And when he came the first couple of weeks and whatnot, I started to really get used to him and realize what he's wanting to do for our program and everything. And in my opinion, he's a really, really great coach.
So when he first came, we had guys dropping out saying that they really didn't trust him. Once I saw him and he told me a little bit, about what he has done for other high schools, I started to like him. I mean, I knew he was the real deal. I'm glad he decided to take off this job. 4 coaches, that's a lot of coaches, But this guy, he's really trying to build a great program here at DAR. So I'm really proud that he's came to us and he's been working us like he wants something really good out of us. So yeah, I really trust him a lot.
Coach, we've known you several years now. We've had you on our show countless number of times. You've always had a lot of high energy, and you seem like the type guy that you need to be sent somewhere you like the challenge of building a program. When you first got to Grant, Alabama, and you looked at what you had facility-wise and guys-wise, what was your first thoughts that went through your head, the first steps that you had to take to build this program back up?
Yeah, I think that we're all blessed with certain gifts, right? And I think, you know, one of my redemptive gifts is just being a builder, man. I look at situations that, you know, and obviously I don't think it's about me. I think it's more about just what I've been blessed with. And we have an idea and we have a formula we think we can put together to generate, you know, the success that we need. And you know, the facilities when we got the grant, I mean, I feel like that we have great weight room. I mean, it needs to be updated just like everybody else, but we have great weight room, a beautiful campus, beautiful facilities, beautiful football field. If you've never been to see a football game at Grant on Friday night when that sun sets behind the back there, it's just, I mean, it's picturesque. And they just needed leadership, I felt like, and needed love, you know. Like Jeff said, hey, I mean, I've been around this thing since 2003. The 23-year-old head coach at Geraldine had no clue about what he was doing, obviously, and had no business with it, to being 43 now and being in this spot. And, you know, a lot's changed for me as a coach in what I see as success and what I see as, you know, being able to be successful. And obviously, impact on kids is number one, and you think, well, anybody should know that, but when you're young, you really don't. You don't really realize what it's like. But being able to see these guys, and like I said, I mean, this what Adam talked about and what Marlon talked about, you could see it on their face, man. It was like, yeah, whatever, this dude, you know. And I could tell, I really could. And I knew at that point in time, it was my job to show them that this is who I am, this is what I do, you know. And I challenged them. I said, reach out to guys that I've coached before. I asked them, you know, if what I say is not what I do, because in a lot of times, like you said, that trust factor is what it is. And you know, Larry Bolin, our principal, and Colonel Nair, our board member, and Dr. Wiggler, our superintendent, man, everything that they told me that they were going to do, hiring me coaches, giving me opportunities to get people in, we have. You know, these guys right here, they're probably going to have the best coaching that they've ever had, top to bottom. We have some great coaches on our staff. We've hired in some great coaches. We've retained some great coaches. And as far as building, you know, that's where it starts right there. It's the knowledge of the game. Showing those guys every day that, hey, like I said, show up when you feel like it, show up when you don't. We may not feel good, we're going to be there. You know, we may feel great, we're going to be there. We're going to entrust this knowledge on you. We're going to impart this knowledge on you. We're going to teach you the game, and we're going to show you how to play it. At the end of the day, we can't make you do it, but we sure can show you how to do it. And I've told them multiple times, I can't guarantee how many wins we're going to have. I can't guarantee we're going to have a win. Nobody can do that sitting up here. But what I can guarantee is this. What we are offering them is giving them the opportunity to get a win. We are giving them the tools that they need to go out there and garner those wins. And at the end of the day, you know, it's going to be up to them to take hold of it.
I want to ask this to each one of the players. Coach, you talked about the things that you did this summer. Guys, as you participated with your teammates this summer, do you feel like the team is coming together the way you guys as senior leaders would like for the team to come together going into the fall camp?
Yes, I believe because in the past it felt like our team hasn't been as close together as it can be. And this year with Coach Davis just coming, he took our football program by the reins, and he really has helped to bring our football team closer together as a whole. So as we're working out, we have more connections. You know, we're pushing each other more in the weight room, also out in the field. But it's also just an overall better experience with all these coaches helping us.
Any of you other guys want to comment on that?
Sure. So, like Seth said, he really took control of us. You know, he wants us to make memories as seniors. You know, because last year, you know, there's not a whole lot going on for us. You know, this is our fourth coach, like I said earlier before. But yeah, I mean, our team has been closer together. I mean, we've made a lot of memories these past few months. I mean, I'm just he's been doing pretty good. I mean, he's been showing us how to take control of it. You know, he's been telling us, right, to support each other on our lows. You know, because who knows what's going to happen next. So you know, we try to help each other to motivate ourselves in the weight room, on the field. Even when, you know, we're down by, you know, a point, we try to motivate ourselves to keep pushing ourselves. So, yeah, I mean, we've been pretty close, I guess, from the past few years.
Coach, we'll wrap it up with you with just one question. Looking down your schedule, you open with Sardis coming up, I guess, a month from tomorrow night on the 25th. Just talk about the schedule and the challenges of your schedule here as you open up with a couple of Marshall County teams. Sardis is not Marshall County.
Yeah, but I'm with you. Our challenge is going to be our challenge all year long. As I said earlier, I think if you look at our team 7 through 12, we've got about 43 players on our roster. In key positions, we're playing young guys. Like I said, we're playing a freshman at quarterback. We're playing two 8th graders one at a strong outside linebacker, one at a slot guy, guys that are in just key positions. And I've talked to these older guys, I've talked to them about, look, they're probably going to get in situations where it's going to be tough on them. That you try being 14, 13 years old playing against 17, 18-year-old kids in a fast-paced, varsity game. It's going to be tough. So that's going to be the challenge week in and week out. It's no different though when at West End, we were playing 13 kids a game, but the difference was they were playing about 13 or 14 a game. Now we're going to be going against rosters of 50 and 60 kids, and they're probably going to play anywhere from 25 to 30 kids a game. So we've really, worked our guys hard in the offseason trying to be in shape because they're going to have to take a lot of snaps. There are teams on our schedule that I feel like we're going to be able to go out and compete against, Obviously, every single one of them I feel like has great coaching. Like you said, Sardis right off the bat with BJ being there now. He's never been a head coach before, but, man, he's been around some great programs, some great coaches that I'm sure he's taken a lot from, and Sardis is going to be ready for us for sure. And, Douglas, they've really come into their own in our county and what they've done. So, I think really the biggest thing is just – and I've kind of told our guys is every single week, it really doesn't matter who we're playing. We got to get better ourselves. We got to focus on, and I tell them this, I can't control anything that happened, before March 1st of 2023. But we can start from that point right there and look at ourselves and say, all right, March 1st, 2024, where are we? Where are we as a program? And, I'm going to be there. They know I'm going to be there. Unless I'm dead, I tell them I'm going to be there. And so, that schedule week in and week out, after we've looked up there and whether it's got a W for the Patriots or not, we're going to evaluate ourselves and we're going to say, hey, are we better this week than we were last week? And if we can look at that and say yes, then we're going to take it however we're going to take it, and we're going to keep improving. I told these guys yesterday, and, I don't mind saying this in public, I've appreciated the fact that they've made me earn this situation, made me earn who I am in their life, and made me earn who I am for their football team, because I don't think it would be worth it if it wasn't. These guys, like I said, they didn't just come in and say, yeah, man, we'll trust you. They wanted to look me out. They wanted to feel me over, make sure that everything that I said was true. And they've stuck with me and done the things they've done. And so hopefully, we can give them a really, really good senior experience. And I just tell them every day, man, if we show up, keep doing what we're supposed to do. I know what the outlook's like. I know what everybody says. But that's why we line it up and play it, and you just never know. And I'm looking forward to it. And I really believe if you come out to Grand on a Friday night and you check this team out, you're going to look at them and say, man, this is really not what I expected. They're a really good football team.
All right, Coach, thanks. Thanks, guys, for being with us. Good luck to the Patriots this year.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, let's continue this morning with the Asbury Rams and Coach Matt Harris. Coach, first-year coach at Asbury. Congratulations, Coach, and welcome to Media Day for your first Media Day here in Marshall County. And if you'll either introduce the guys or let them introduce themselves and make us some opening comments, we'd appreciate it.
All right, I'll let them introduce themselves here.
I'm Corey Arvey. I'm a wide receiver and a free safety.
My name is Logan Hale, offensive lineman and nose guard.
My name is Trey Childress. I'm a running back and a defensive end.
My name's Jacob Lindsay. I play quarterback and outside linebacker.
Like Jeff said, Coach Harris, we appreciate you guys having us here. We look forward to this season. We've had a heck of a summer. We've got kids that are committed to getting better, and that's something that we wanted to push. Since June, we've had consistent guys in the weight room, guys on the field conditioning. We want to take it to the next level. This will be year 8 for our varsity program, and we're really excited about what the future holds at Rams Stadium.
Coach, could you talk about returning players, how many starters you may have coming back from last year's team, and maybe what you consider the strengths of the team going into the season?
Yes, sir. We have most of our starters are back. We only are replacing 3 seniors, but most of our offensive line, our skill guys, they're returning. We are defensively the same situation. We're young, but we're experienced. We have 5 seniors right now, and these guys have, like I said, they've showed up and they've worked their tail off to continue to be those starters. So we're excited for where they're going to be at. I think one of the biggest things that we're looking at is all 3 components of the game and how those blend with each other: offense, defense, special teams.
Okay, I'll ask the guys. Coach talked about how much and how hard you've worked this summer preparing for the season. As leaders of the team, obviously, since Coach brought you to Media Day today, as players, do you feel like that you're coming together and you'll be ready to start the season here in about a month?
Genuinely, as a team, we started to bond better, play, have more chemistry, just building a team bond together.
I feel like the weight room's helped a lot. We're always in there, we're consistent, always conditioning, always out on the field putting in work.
We've definitely overall just gotten better whenever it comes to the overall aspect of the game just entirely, because that's all we've done. We've made football our life, and we're going to continue to do it.
Yeah, like Trey said, we've just been putting in work on the field and in the weight room. We're all getting stronger and faster and more conditioned.
Well, Coach, this is for you. You know, it's a new, not new program, but, trying to get your footing, basically. Do you think the toughest part of your job is to getting these guys to where they expect to win rather than hoping to win?
I think the toughest part is, to be honest, is actually getting there, getting the win. These guys are hungry. They believe in themselves. They believe in each other. We want to cultivate that as a staff. We want to make sure that they know that we are on the same page with them. That expectation of we can go out there and compete with anybody should be across the board, whether it's a kid or a coach. We're going to come out and we're going to stand toe-to-toe with anybody we're on the field with. So,
Coach, I remember coming to Asbury the first time, and the locker room was in a little bitty trailer house with not a lot more. You got a fabulous facility, and you're also in an area of the county that's growing. How much emphasis can you put on the young people to hold the rope and to keep the faith and to keep this program building? Because sooner or later, it's going to be a very prominent program.
Yes, sir. Love our community. Our community's great, and like you said, it's continuing to grow and build. And we've established some of those tradition things. We want to continue to establish those, and to establish those, we have to bring people into the fold. While we're not looking to be a flash in the pan, we have programs around that have been established for 100 years. And like I said earlier, this is year 8 of our varsity program. We want to continue to build that, but we have to have the buy-in to build that. So to promote that to general population, as far as students are concerned, their families, and bringing those people into the fold to toe the line, we're all about it. We're excited, man. It's going to be a big thing. Friday nights out in Asbury is a big thing, and we want to take it to that next level and bring those people into the fold that may not have been out yet. Bringing them into the family. So
this is for each one of you players. Coach just mentioned, going to that next level. How special would it be for each one of you guys? Obviously, you're showing a lot of character. You're still fighting through the tough times, the 100-degree temperatures in the summers. How satisfying would it be for you guys to be the foundation that builds something special there at Asbury?
It would be absolutely amazing for us to be the start of, or like continuing what we got going on and stuff like that.
Just about like Corey said, it would be amazing just for the fact of being able to be there and show that we are what we want to be, and to show everybody else around that we are what we say we are.
Yeah, I know. I feel like we can get there, but we're just gonna have to keep working, keep putting in that time, hard work. But we're getting there eventually.
It would feel great to show these young kids that they can do what we can do. They can do even better than that. Just showing them that they got the willpower and the drive to do something greater.
Coach, a question about your staff. I know you've been at Asbury for a few years. Talk about the staff, and is it still the same staff that's been there for the last couple of years, or did you have to add some?
We've retained the guys that were with us last year. Our O-line coach, he's going to be our junior high guy. He's also going to be helping with varsity still continuing on. We have added a few more to our staff. Some young guys. We actually had a chance to hire a guy that is an Asbury graduate. So we're getting to that point where we're just about full circle. And it's a pretty neat thing to see when you have kids that are not kids anymore, and they went through this program, started with a Pee-wee and went to junior high and with JV, and now their kids are in our Pee-wee program. It's really neat to be able to cultivate that and see full circle there. So we've got a guy that's going to be with us that's an Asbury graduate, and we're probably going to continue to build on that. The biggest thing is support, where you may not be coaching on a Friday night, but you're going to be in some sort of support role for us, helping us out, and it's huge. It's huge for us, for our people to be able to do that.
Let's close out the Asbury portion today. Guys, I'd like to ask you a question. I've asked some of the other teams as they've come through. Coach has selected you to be here today. Obviously, you're leaders of your football team. Talk about how special it may be that you've been selected to represent your football team, your school, your community here today at Media Day?
It's definitely something different, I can say. Just being able to show that we're able to have an impact on our team in this way.
It's an honor. It's an honor, coming out here wearing this jersey at Media Day today. It's an honor to represent this team and the people around me in my community.
It's just overall amazing to know that I've made it as far enough just to be out here with the guys and to be able to come out and represent.
It's amazing that Coach thought of me and the rest of these guys up here to represent.
All right, thanks, guys. We appreciate you. Good luck to the Rams in 2023. Coach, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
I'd like to welcome Coach Josh Bailey to Marshall County. Josh is the new head football coach for the Brindlee Mountain Lions. And, Coach, if you'd let the guys introduce themselves or you introduce them and make some opening comments for us today, we'd appreciate it.
This is Joey Cox to my left here. He's an offensive lineman, a senior offensive lineman. I've also brought Colton Hall. He'll be a senior wide receiver. And over here is Evan Parks. He's a senior linebacker / H-back. And so got a good group of guys with us here today.
Just some opening comments, if you would, about this year's team.
Okay. So we're trying to build a culture at Brindlee Mountain. I'm excited. I'm from Arab, so I'm from the area right there on the mountain. And so it was a fun opportunity to come home. Spent the past 4 years coaching at Huntsville High School with Coach Fleetwood. And I think that was a great opportunity to see things done at a high level. It's 7A football, playing a really high level of competition. But more importantly than that, I think what I gained from my previous experience was being able to see the organizational side of things and being able to find out how a program ought to be run, and not just coaching a football team, but running a football program. And so when I came to Brindlee Mountain, I saw that as an opportunity. It was a challenge, but an opportunity to kind of establish a culture and create a football program and an atmosphere that's conducive to success. And so far, we've had really great participation. We've had really good turnout. I think these guys could attest to the fact that we've put together a summer program, which is not totally new, but we're doing it a little differently than we've done things in the past. And I think that we got a good group of seniors. We're at around 10 to 12 seniors. And so, they've really bought in, and they're trying their hardest to change the culture at Brindlee Mountain. I think the numbers have come up a little bit, and so we're looking forward to seeing the fruits of our labors. But more importantly, we're looking forward to seeing the culture change, and that's kind of something that I've talked to these seniors about. The wins might not come right away. But what we're trying to do is a little bit more important than that. What we're trying to do is build the foundation for Brindlee Mountain football. Build something that these kids that are in middle school and that are freshmen can stand on, a firm foundation for them to stand on when it's their time. And these guys, I think they've stepped up to the plate. I think they're prepared, and these guys want to be the guys to do it.
Coach, you talk about the changes that you're bringing maybe philosophically through offense, defense, and also how many returning players that played on the team last year do you have coming back?
We've had, so about the returning players, we've had quite a bit of turnover. So some of the players that played last year have elected not to play. We've had several seniors. I think now we're at 5 or 6 seniors that hadn't played at Brindlee Mountain that have chosen to come out and play. Some guys that played, up into their freshman year, sophomore year maybe, and then just decided to hang it up and have elected to come back out. And so that's been really great. And as far as changes go, as far as scheme and everything, football's football, and everything works. There's not an offense that anybody's put together that is designed to fail. So the scheme changes aren't really what's going to matter. I think what matters more so is the how we achieve what we're wanting to achieve. The how do we get there? And I think these players understand that. And we've tried to be a little bit more detailed as far as like how we teach things. I think one big difference is I'm an offensive line guy. I played offensive line at Alabama A&M and at Jacksonville State, and I coached the offensive line everywhere I've ever been. That's kind of my trade. I love coaching the offensive line. We took these guys to the Southeastern Line Camp in Clay Chalkville, and that's the first time they'd ever done anything like that. And we got to see some really first-rate teams there. Bob Jones was there, James Clemens was there, Thompson was there, Clay Chalkville was there. And so they got to see what it looks like. They got to be coached by those guys. And so we really want to put a lot of emphasis, I guess scheme-wise, that would be the biggest difference is we're really trying to emphasize the line of scrimmage. And I think that has been a bit of a weakness, in past times at Brindlee Mountain. But again, I don't think any of that really is the big takeaway, the scheme changes or anything like that. I think the big takeaway is changing the culture and how we operate and just learning how to be a football team, the do's and do nots and that kind of thing.
This is for the players. You can tell Coach Bailey, you've hit the ground running, high energy. Guys, what do you think about Coach Bailey so far? Has he changed the culture? Has he laid a foundation that where you can make Brindlee Mountain a great place to play football?
Yes, sir. He changed a lot of stuff around. Like we're in the weight room every day almost that we can possibly be in there, and it's a lot faster paced and practice and just different energy this year.
About the same thing he said. It's pretty much what he's done. He's done a lot for us, especially me and these guys up here. So let's just go on.
Yeah, he's changed a lot. Like the offense is new, defense is new uniforms, better equipment. It's a lot better.
Coach, one of the things about Brindlee Mountain is unique is the fact there is not a community, a city, a town around your school. What is it going to take to get the community or the area, if you would, and you draw from probably the biggest area in Marshall County, how's it going to get those folks all together, singing out of the same page in the same hymn book, and getting them together to back your football team?
Yeah, great question and a good point. I can't tell you how many times I've had that exact conversation when describing the situation. I kind of describe our school zone like a donut, and ARAB is the donut hole. I drive every day and go pick up kids, and we drive past ARAB High School to take them to Brindlee Mountain High School. But what I just said, I think that may be the answer to your question. The kids buy in and they want to play hard for people that they love and that they care about. And one of the ways that we foster relationships is by doing the hard things for these kids. And this isn't bragging on just me or anybody else. Some of the guys that we've hired, Coach Pittman, he picks up kids and brings them to the school. I pick up kids and bring them to the school. Yesterday, we played at a 7-on-7 in Fort Payne yesterday. And yesterday morning, wake up at 5:30, drive down the road and pick up a kid, and then drive the other direction, pick up 3 more kids, and then we drive past ARAB High School, to head to Brindlee Mountain High School. But when you do those kind of things and invest time and energy and resources into the kids, then you get back buy-in. It's about building a rapport. And let me say this about the community at Brindlee Mountain. The community at Brindlee Mountain is hungry for a positive thing. And football, I think, is a great opportunity. I think football could be that positive thing. We've had a lot of community support, a ton of it. So I want to make mention of Rocky Nepper. He's our Pee Wee football. He kind of put together the Pee Wee program, I guess the president, so to speak, of our Pee Wee organization. And for years, Brindlee Mountain didn't have a Pee Wee program. if our kids wanted to play Pee Wee football, they'd go to ARAB, and they'd play with those kids who would end up going to ARAB. And so, and then obviously when they got to high school, they'd have the option of going to ARAB. It was a huge deal for us to get the Pee Wee program up and running. As far as I know, Brindlee Mountain has never done a youth camp. This was our first year doing a youth camp. We had 45 participants. That was grades K through 6. And for a first year, I was very pleased with the turnout. And the parents had a great time, and the kids had a great time. And I think doing those kind of things is how you get buy-in from the community. I think so far it's paid off.
Coach, the majority of your team has only experienced 2 wins. How much do you feel the hunger within the group?
Oh, man. I mean, we want to win. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we want to win big time. Losing bothers me, you know. On nights that I lose, sometimes I don't get a lot of sleep. But that being said, I think I want to preemptively say we want to win. But the big part is that these kids understand that what we're doing is a little bit of what I said earlier. These kids understand that what we're doing is building a foundation. The good teams play hard no matter the circumstance, right? And so whether we're up 21, down 21, whether we're 9-0 or 0-9, the number one thing that is my goal this year is to get these kids to play hard every down. I'll make mention of yesterday. Again, we were in Fort Payne playing 7-on-7, and I think we were the only team out there that had everybody playing both ways. Sylvania was out there, and you know they were 2 platoon. We played Fort Payne's JV. Even the Fort Payne's JV was 2 platoon. And our guys, I mean, Evan got about every snap yesterday, and so did Colton. And we get to the last game, and you can tell we're beat, you know. And I kind of got the team together and made mention of, you know, guys, this is hard, but isn't that the point, right? Getting through hard stuff together, making sure that everybody stays in the boat. That's what this year's about. We're hungry for wins. But I think more importantly than that, we want to build a foundation that, again, the younger kids can stand on.
Coach, I can't tell you how proud I am to see you having called your name when you played for the Arabian Nights and through that time. But you also have your football career so far has had a couple of really good mentors, people that are well respected in the world of football in Watt Parker, and of course in Coach Fleetwood at Huntsville High, which is my alma mater, and to meet and to know them and know how much have you gleaned from them to take to your head coaching position?
Oh, man. The very first call I made was Coach Parker. I called him and I said, Coach, are you busy? Can you meet me at the field house? The night I was board approved, I think it was March. It was early March. And I got my keys, and then the next day, Coach Parker was there willing and ready to meet me at the field house and kind of get my checklist going. I mean, it was a huge deal to have him to lean on. He was at the field house this past week, helping me check out the sprinklers and helping me just go over some stuff, helping me order paint and those kinds of things. The growing pains that a first-year head coach would have, you know. And so he's been there for me in a big way. I'd say the exact same thing for Coach Fleetwood. Making mention of Coach Fleetwood, I get to Brindlee Mountain, and one of the biggest challenges that I see, we don't have a trainer. No trainer to be found. And they went without a trainer all year last year. So I call Coach Fleetwood. Coach Fleetwood, what can I do? Like, give me an avenue. And he puts me in contact with Michael Stevenson, who works with Huntsville Hospital. And before long, now we have a trainer almost full time. I think she's going to be at Asbury a little bit, but she's going to be with us the majority of the time. And so those 2 guys, Coach Fleetwood and Coach Parker, have been absolutely huge. And my growth as a coach, more importantly, my growth as a person, but as of late, helping the Brindlee Mountain football team. And so I'm very grateful to them.
Guys, I'd like to ask the players a question. Coach mentioned the 7-on-7 yesterday and probably other work that you've done this summer. As leaders of the football team, do you feel that work this summer has pulled you guys closer together and made you ready for this fall season coming up?
Yes, sir. I feel like in the beginning of the summer, there was a lot of new people, and there wasn't a lot of chemistry in between the players. But being at 7-on-7s and just the bus rides and then being at the 7-on-7 and every once in a while getting a win, it built a friendship and a family throughout the whole team.
Yeah, on the bus rides to the 7-on-7s, people are showing up to practice every day, working hard. 7-on-7s, like going out to eat, bus rides, we've all had that chemistry. We got good chemistry now, and we feel really good for this year.
I went to the lineman camp, but the bus ride there and back and then just learning everything from everybody just makes a team, builds a bond deeper than we've had before.
And again, players, talk about Coach asking you, first-year coach coming in. You've made an impression on him, obviously, to be here today. He's brought you to represent your community, to represent your school, and obviously your teammates and your football team. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot. I was half of the summers at basketball, so I wasn't really, and there was people there that were there more than me, and I feel like, I'm glad he brought me, and it's an honor to be here and represent my team and my community.
It's an honor for me too. I ain't played football since my 8th grade year in middle school, and I came out for the summer, and I had basketball for the longest, and I came out for football, and I'm honored to be here and support,
It's an honor to come with, because I like Coach Bailey. He's doing a lot for everybody, and he's just there to help. So,
Coach, we'll wrap it up with you today. Talk about your schedule. You open 4 weeks from tomorrow night. I think you've got a home game. You get the home game to open up your career there at Brindlee Mountain. Talk about your schedule and how you think you might stack up this season.
Well, we open up the 17th at home against Galesville in a jamboree. And then following that, we're at home at Cherokee. And, we talk a little bit about, as a coaching staff, you get together and you talk about, what does the season look like, the wins and the losses and that kind of thing. I'm happy with the schedule. I think we got some really, really tough teams. When Madison Academy's in the region, that's tough. I think there's some winnable games on the schedule. But again, we really try to not talk about those things too much. The wins and the losses, that'll come. Hopefully the winning, will be a byproduct of the hard work that we put in. What's way more important than that is that we're competitive in these games. And when I say competitive, we are working our tail off to compete. It doesn't mean that, we lost a close one, 28-21. It means that if you're down 35 points, then how do you take the field? Do you walk on the field? Do you walk off the field? Or do you jog on? Do you jog off? What's the body language look like on the sideline? Those are the things that we're really trying to accent rather than the wins and the losses. And, hopefully if we do those things well, the wins will come.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you being here with us today. Have a great season.
Thank you, guys.